one of the ministries in this country that has been churning out very, very, wrong and false information has been the Ministry of Agriculture.
You mean the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has been churning a lot of false information?
Exactly. And I think that the Planting for Food and Agriculture, Planting for Food and Jobs is certainly a great initiative. Unfortunately, whatever that is good about the initiative perhaps has been taken away by the high level of propaganda and the high level of misinformation that is often churned out by that ministry in terms of our food production capacity and rates, and in terms of what is happening in our agricultural sector. I think the minister himself has consistently been putting out false information. He's always been exposed for the wrong information that is put out there, but it appears that it doesn't deter him. And that is why we are where we are. We get the false information and the false hope that we are doing well in terms of our food production capacity and how much we need in our country to feed ourselves and so on and so forth, all for the sake of political propaganda. And I think that if we don't move away from that, if we had time, I could give you figures and statements that the minister has, been putting out there, which are all false and creates a certain false hope.
Sulemana, we don't have that much time, but I would like you to touch on, if you can, briefly, because I didn't know you would go off on this tangent. I would like you to touch on one or two briefly. You can just mention which specific issues, and we can take it from there.
So, for example, if you take our soya bean production, for example, the minister on February 3rd, in a meeting with Tony Blair, put out a false information that, before 2017, when this government came to power, Ghana was producing less than 100,000 metric tons of soya bean a year, which was false. And then he went on to say that since coming into power, the soya bean production has increased to 250,000 metric tons, which again is false, because the latest information, the latest figures by his own ministry indicates that even as of 2020, where the figures were available, we were not doing up to 210,000 metric tons. And even the projection for 2021 was not even up to more than 215,000 metric tons. So you ask yourself, why would the ministers sit and say publicly that we are doing like 250,000 tons when he knows that that is not true? He talks about maize production, in another encounter. And in fact, on this occasion, he even contradicts himself in terms of what he tells Parliament and what he says during his own vettings, in terms of vetting to be a minister, in terms of the figures when it comes to our maize production. He talks about the fact that, we were doing less than 1.8 metric tons of maize production before 2017, which is false, because the World Bank figures even indicates as at 2012, we were doing as high as 1.95 metric tons. By 2010, we were doing 1.87 metric tons. And he says by 2016, we were doing less than 1.8 metric tons, which is false. Then he talks about by 2017, we had then moved to 1.8 metric tons, which was literally what the country was doing. So if a minister gives this impression that, we're doing less and now we are doing more, when in reality, what he is saying is actually what we used to do, then we create a certain false impression. All is fine. Food production is good now. Right. And then we find ourselves in the situation that we are in now, where we have had to ban maize and soya bean export also the last time I was reading. So I think it would be good if the minister and his ministry would begin to tell Ghanaians exactly what the figures are, so that Ghanaians are not deceived that, because of Planting for Food and Jobs, we are doing this, when in reality, that is not the case.